The next stage of the Seder is the Motzi-Matza, the moment when we both make a bracha on lechem mishnan, two whole matzot, and then make the bracha on the broken matzah, on the lechem oni. The reason given by the Haggadah for eating matzah on Pesach was because the dough of our forefathers didn't have time to become leavened. But it's difficult to use that explanation. Why? First, as the Maharsha notes, if this were really the reason, the mitzvah to eat matzah wouldn't apply until after only midnight, which was when the Jews actually left Egypt and baked the dough that they had with them into matzah. Why then do we perform the mitzvah of eating matzah before chatzot, before midnight? How does that commemorate the matzos that the Jews ate after they were chased out of Egypt? And secondly, as the Avodram points out, how can the haste with which the Jews left Egypt be the reason for eating matzah, considering that they were commanded to eat the Korban Pesach in Egypt with matzah and maror 5 days earlier? If we eat matzah to commemorate the haste, then why did they eat matzah in Egypt before that haste occurred? The answer, according to the Maharsha, was that the prohibition of eating chametz for 7 days and the commandment to eat matzah for those 7 days diverge in their fundamental reason. The prohibition of eating chametz indeed relates to the fact that the people baked matzahs when they left Egypt and their dough didn't have time to rise. However, the obligation to eat matzah, that, according to the Maharsha, is related to the mitzvah of the Korban Mincha, of the regular offerings that were given in the Beit HaMikdash, Kol HaMincha Asher Takrivu Lashem Lo Ta'aseh Chametz, that any of those meal offerings were not allowed to be chametz. They had to be matzah. In a sense, explains the Maharsha, the matzah that we eat on the night of the Seder, the matzah that we celebrate our freedom with, is a matzah similar to the offering, to a korban, similar to that which we were able to do after we left Egypt, when we built the Mishkan and later when we had a Beit HaMikdash. We're reenacting, in a sense, with the matzah that we eat, our freedom and our closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And yet let's not forget the way we began the Seder with a halach ma'anya, that we are also remembering the poor man's bread, that there was a time in Egypt when we couldn't have anything but matzah itself. The reason for a prohibition of chametz, that the Maharsha says, is because we had to rush out of Egypt and the dough couldn't rise. The obligation of matzah, however, reminds us of both the slavery and the ultimate freedom of redemption that we were able to achieve once we left Egypt.